Victoria Reynolds was a powerful CEO who had everything money could buy, except someone she could truly trust. Her personal driver, Marcus Carter, was a quiet black man who had worked for her for nearly 2 years. He was always respectful, punctual, and calm, but Victoria barely knew anything about him. One afternoon, while preparing for her company's biggest charity gala, Victoria jokingly told her assistant, "Maybe I should invite Marcus. Everyone would be shocked if the CEO arrived with her driver." Her colleagues laughed. Victoria knew it was a little cruel, but she decided to do it anyway. That evening, she called Marcus into her office. "Do you have plans Friday?" "No." "Then come to the gala with me." Marcus looked surprised. "As your driver?" Victoria smiled. "No. As my guest." Marcus simply nodded. "I'll be there." Victoria expected him to arrive nervous and uncomfortable. Instead, when the ballroom doors opened Friday night, everyone turned. Marcus walked in wearing a perfectly tailored midnight blue tuxedo. His posture was confident, his hair neatly styled, and his presence was completely different from the quiet driver Victoria knew. But that wasn't the biggest shock. Several wealthy businessmen immediately walked over to greet him. Marcus Carter. "It's been years." Victoria's smile disappeared. She looked at her mother. "Who is he?" Her mother whispered, "You said he was your driver." Victoria had no answer. Marcus walked toward her. "You look beautiful." Victoria stared at him. "You look different." Marcus smiled. "I clean up well." Later, Victoria followed him onto the terrace. "Who are you?" Marcus looked at her calmly. "You never asked." He finally revealed the truth. His father had owned one of the country's largest investment companies. After his father's death, Marcus inherited a fortune. But instead of living like a billionaire, Marcus had chosen to work quietly as a driver. "Why?" "Because I wanted to know how people treated me when they thought I had nothing." Victoria lowered her eyes. "And how did I treat you?" Marcus answered honestly. "You weren't cruel. You just never bothered to see me." Victoria felt ashamed. "I invited you because I thought it would be funny." "I know. I'm sorry." Marcus nodded. "Then don't just apologize. Change." Before Victoria could respond, a reporter arrived and revealed Marcus's identity to the entire ballroom. The man Victoria had invited as a joke was actually one of the city's wealthiest investors. But Marcus didn't use his wealth to embarrass her. He simply walked away. The next morning, Victoria's company suddenly faced a financial disaster. Millions of dollars were disappearing. The company's stock collapsed. And someone had secretly leaked confidential information. The board immediately blamed Marcus. Victoria refused to believe it. She called him. "Are you trying to take over my company?" "No." "Then who is?" "I don't know yet. But I'm going to find out." Marcus discovered that Victoria's chief financial officer, Daniel, had been stealing money with the help of a powerful board member named Richard. Their plan was to destroy the company's value, buy the company cheaply, and blame Marcus for everything. Marcus and Victoria secretly investigated. They eventually discovered the evidence. But before they could expose Richard, Daniel disappeared. Then Victoria was removed from her position as CEO. She walked out of her own company carrying a box while reporters surrounded her. Across the street, Marcus was waiting. "You came." "I said I would." Victoria got into his car. "I lost everything." Marcus looked at her. "No. You lost a position. You still have yourself." With Daniel's help, they eventually recovered the evidence. Richard and his partners were arrested. Victoria was offered her CEO position back. But she returned to the company as a different woman. She changed everything. She created scholarships for employees' children, childcare support, and opportunities for people who had been overlooked because of their background or job title. She also offered Marcus a position as a strategic partner. "You want me on your board?" Marcus asked. "Yes." "Why?" Victoria smiled. "Because I finally learned to recognize someone's value before looking at their position." Marcus accepted. Months later, Victoria invited Marcus to dinner again. This time, there was no joke. No audience. No hidden reason. Just the two of them. Victoria smiled across the table. "Do you remember our first dinner?" Marcus laughed. "How could I forget? I was embarrassed." "You should have been." She laughed. "I thought you were just my driver." "I know. And then I discovered you were rich." Marcus shook his head. "That wasn't the important part." Victoria looked at him. "Then what was?" Marcus smiled. "The important part was that you finally saw me." Victoria reached across the table and held his hand. "You taught me something." "What?" "Never judge someone by the uniform they're wearing." Marcus squeezed her hand. "And you taught me something too." "What?" "That sometimes people can change." A year later, Victoria and Marcus stood together at a charity event their new foundation had created. Thousands of people had received scholarships, financial support, and new opportunities. Marcus looked at the crowd and said, "Never judge someone's future by their present position. The person you overlook today may be the person who changes your life tomorrow." Victoria watched him proudly. She remembered the night she had invited him to dinner as a joke. She had thought the shocking part would be seeing her driver walk into a ballroom looking like a billionaire. But she had been wrong. The real surprise was discovering that Marcus had never needed to become someone else to be worthy of respect. He had always been valuable. She simply hadn't taken the time to see it. And somewhere between the joke, the betrayal, and the second chance, the CEO and her former driver became partners, closest friends, and eventually something much more. Because sometimes the greatest transformation isn't when someone changes who they are. It's when you finally learn to see who they have always been. If this story touched your heart, subscribe to Beyond Kindness, turn on notifications, and share this story with someone who believes every person deserves respect. Never judge someone by their job, their clothes, or their position. You never know what greatness may be standing quietly in front of you.